Welcome to the DA Sports Podcast, guys. How you guys all doing today? I am your host, lovely Andrew Purcell, and that is Doug, just randomly walking somewhere today to do this podcast. The show. How are you guys? Today we're going to go over the MLB awards being given on out. The problems going on with Kelly Oubre Jr. in the Sixers organization. Draymond Green gets suspended
again.
Others are in disarray, and McDavid's not happy about it. But today we're going to. But Doug, how are you all doing before we get started on there with the Oakland Athletics?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a crazy few days.
That's good.
Actually, another thing I want to touch on when we hit hockey is there was an arrest made in the Adam Johnson case.
We will touch on that as well. So we're going to start off today, though, with the Oakland Athletics are now officially moving to Las Vegas.
The owners voted up.
The voters unanimously passed the vote over. And, we all saw this one coming. I don't think anybody was shocked by it. But, Doug, thoughts on that right now? Because that's pretty interesting news for the Athletics, who've moved again.
Well, my initial thought on it is Vegas somehow keeps stealing all of Oakland's teams.
Yeah,
that's my first thought. So from what I understand, what I read while I was working today is their first season in Vegas is going to be 28.
Okay.
And there's rumors going around because their lease at Oakland Coliseum's up next year.
Yeah.
So this will be their last season in Oakland.
Yeah, I should be see how the fans react to that.
Oh, that's okay. It's not like they draw more than 10,000 people a game anyway.
Well, there goes those cheap tickets we always wanted to get.
Yeah, seriously. But there's rumors, immediate rumors, that they're probably going to spend between 25 and 28. They're going to spend in their AAA ballpark,
okay,
in Nevada.
Okay.
And there's also a rumor floating out there about sharing Oracle Park with the Giants.
I'm surprised since they're moving to Vegas, they're not going to play at UNLV.
Well, that's a possibility too.
Yeah, I mean they do.
I don't know what UNLV's. I don't know UNLV's baseball program very well.
No, I don't know really well either. They're mostly known for like basketball and stuff like that, but they probably do have a park. I just don't know if it's any good. I mean, if they even have. They probably have to be up to MLB regulations. They're kind of like what they did in Dunedin, in Buffalo, when the Jays played there during the pandemic.
With Sayhead.
Yeah.
Sayhead Field.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there. It's a big day. Oakland moving again. I think it was for the third or fourth time now, if I'm correct.
This is the third time. So
yeah.
So they moved sometime between the 40s and 60s. I don't have the exact date.
Yeah.
But they moved from Philadelphia to Oakland.
Yeah, they moved in the wasn't in the 60s or 70s. Possibly. They might have moved to Oakland, maybe in the 70s.
Well, I know they won the World Series in Oakland in 72, I believe.
Yeah, they're probably already in the 70s or 80s. Sorry, in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, so this will be the third time they move, which when you consider that the team itself, the franchise is, God, almost 100 years old at this point, if not more. I mean, that's not terrible.
No,
right?
It's not. Not, but like.
But I mean, it's not Cincinnati, it's not Pittsburgh,
no.
who were original MLB teams.
Yeah.
I actually looked this up last week or 2 weeks ago. I was kind of arguing with a buddy about something, and he's from the Pittsburgh area, and I found out that the Pirates started in 1871.
Yes.
They're the second oldest team in baseball behind the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, that makes sense. makes sense.
So Oakland, they had to do something because
No.
the owner's too cheap to renovate the Coliseum. The Coliseum itself is falling apart. Almost kind of what happened in LA or in San Diego with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Right? Colquhoun was falling apart, and Spanos didn't want to spend the money to upgrade it.
Well, the city didn't want to spend any for it either, right? Especially if you don't have a winner. Especially if you don't have a winner on the field, that city's not going to want. If you have a winner on the field, the city's going to be more inclined to spend money.
Right, you know? And I kind of like the idea they had the fans with the reverse boycott. Yeah. But the problem is, like, it was too little, too late because, I mean, I think the last time the Oakland Athletics made the playoffs was like 2014.
Yeah.
And they've had some bad teams since then, like really bad teams.
Yeah, they've traded away a lot of their star players for nothing but, a bag of beans.
Well, pretty much. And the problem is,
the last time I remember was probably Frankie Montez. He went to the Yankees last year, and then got hurt.
Well, believe it or not, Frankie Montez was the first domino.
Yeah,
because he went at the deadline, and then the following season, they dealt Chapman, they dealt Olsen, they
Sean
dealt
Murphy.
Last year, they dealt Sean Murphy.
Yeah, and he had a good year in Atlanta.
But their kind of Moneyball system that was fantasized about for years just plain doesn't work anymore.
No, it just doesn't.
Unless it's the Tampa Bay, but they have the staff to back it up.
Yeah, they also have a really good farm system.
Well, they have the development. They have the development staff.
Yeah,
and I mean, screw the fact they're a division rival. Okay, the Tampa Bay Rays have the best development staff in all of baseball.
I think that might go to the Orioles now.
Well, no, I think the Orioles just hit on a couple of draft picks, but I digress.
Time will tell.
The reason why I say that though is because, with Tampa, like you get these guys who have no right and no one's ever heard of, just come out and be absolute studs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or they launched career, and they're a small market team as well. They don't draw more than 10,000 a game.
No, but they're getting a new stadium because they want to be kept in Tampa, or at least the city wants to keep in Tampa. They had a choice. They almost went to Montreal. But he's happier almost.
Right. And I get but now that the league's approved Vegas, I wonder what the next domino to fall is. Because there's a couple other teams in trouble.
That might be a one-year thing. We'll find out next year.
Right.
We'll have to find out next year. The MLB awards have been given out there. Quick rundown. Last night, Blake Snell, Garrett Cole, respectively, have won the Cy Young Award in the AL and NL, respectively. I don't think anybody doubted that Garrett Cole was going to win the AL Cy Young. I mean, here in Toronto, fans probably thought Gosman had a really good chance of doing it. But
no. Okay, this is where I'm actually going to side with the voters because
I think most some fans. I didn't say all fans. I said some fans.
No, I know, but those people have extreme bias against them. If you actually watch the game of baseball, that award was nobody's except Garrett Cole.
Yeah, he had like if you looking at what he has here, he was 15-4 this year with those Yankees. He had a 2.63 ERA, 222 strikeouts, and he had a 0.98 WHIP. That alone was going to win him the Cy Young.
A 0.98 WHIP, excuse me?
Yeah.
Woo. For the fact the Yankees were a terrible team this year.
Yeah. He was the best part of the Yankees. He was the best part of the Yankees all year.
100%.
I mean, forget the fact that Domingo threw a no-hitter earlier in the year. But forget about it. He was the best player the Yankees had all year.
Well, what did I tell you a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Giolito?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. no hitters should not determine the value of a pitcher
No,
because there's a lot of luck involved with a no hitter.
of course it is. There's you have to have all dominoes have to fall into place.
And by the way, on this show from now on, you bring him up, you're going to say notable piece of shit, Domingo Germán.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right.
Sonny Gray finished second. Gosman finished third in the AL. But moving on with the NL,
you could have flip flop either, but
yeah,
I mean, good for Gosman. He's really, when everyone, especially with Alek Manoah falling apart, Gosman really stepped up this year.
He was the brightest spot of the Blue Jays for sure.
One of them for sure.
One of them, yeah. NL wise, Blake Snell, I don't think there's really a controversy on that one at all. 14-9 with a 2.25 ERA, 234 strikeouts, and a 1.18 WHIP. Like
he actually, I don't know how exclusive this club is, but I know it's rare.
Got two different teams.
I know it's rare. Well, it's rare to win one in each league.
Yeah.
I think the last person to do it was Doc.
Yeah.
I think the last.
Well,
I mean, good on Blake Snell. I mean, again, Padres greatly underperformed this year.
Yeah.
But Blake Snell killed it from start of the season to, and he's going.
That man's going to demand a huge price tag. A huge price tag now for Blake Snell. Anybody who wants his services are going to be paying a lot.
He's probably looking at Trevor Bauer money.
Oh, yeah, more likely.
Remember when Bauer cashed in after winning the Cy Young in 2020?
Yeah. He's probably looking at Trevor Bauer money for sure. Notably, Zach Gallen was third and Logan Webb was second.
Right. Zach, we had rookie of the years with Gunnar Henderson, I believe, was the AL.
Yes, the two rookies of the years. Yes, Corbin Carroll was an obvious decision in the NL. There was nobody better in the NL this year when it came to Corbin Carroll. Him alone, he was the first rookie ever to be the 25 and 50 club. So 25 home runs and over 50 stolen bases this year. It's the first time that ever happened for a rookie. So that guy has a bright future. Gunnar Henderson, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody either. I think Gunnar has had a great year for the Baltimore Orioles. There's enough said about that. I mean, he had 28 home runs with the 82 RBIs. He led the league and he had nine triples and F WAR of 4.6. So,
yeah, that's a good season. Also, I believe was it the Orioles manager won manager of the year?
Yes, Orioles also won manager of the year this year. Brandon Hyde. I mean, it's hands down Brandon Hyde when you think about it in the AL. There's nobody who had it. He turned a team over that, was correct, was what, 45 and something last year?
They lost over 100 games last year.
Yeah. And this year they went 101 wins. So we're winning the division of the process and a first round bye.
The NL was Arizona, wasn't it?
No, Arizona was Skip Shoemaker of the Miami Marlins. With 84 wins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
yeah, Miami wasn't expected again, like Baltimore wasn't expected to do a lot,
no.
And they managed to make the playoffs.
Yes,
good on.
Good on them. They had a really good year, led by probably Luis Arai, Sandy Alcantara. Sorry,
which I'm curious what they're gonna do, because Alcantara. He went for Tommy John, didn't he?
Yes, he's out for the next foreseeable future.
Year and a half. At least. Yeah. He's probably out for the next year and a half. So, so I will say this. After, we've had a lot to digest. Now the season's over, free agencies. I don't think anyone's dropped. Free agency's active. We just haven't heard any names signed yet.
Yeah, there are rumors. We will touch on those rumors real quickly too, folks.
Okay, but what I will say is the future's bright in baseball because it's not just your big money teams that are just absolutely dominating.
No, it's a lot of the smaller market teams are coming out of nowhere and playing good baseball. And those big teams, those big money teams, aren't playing the way they should. Like I said, this year, for the first time in a couple of years, there was no Astros, no Dodgers. Not even the Braves are even touched him. So
it was the first time since like I think they said it was like since 2016. No,
Yeah.
not 2016, 2017
mm,
that the World Series didn't feature at least either the Astros or Dodgers.
yes.
So it was kind of a change. It was a changing of the guard this year from two teams that 2 years ago lost over 100 games.
Very true.
So, I mean, great turnaround by both the Diamondbacks and the World Series champion Texas Rangers, doing it two completely different ways too.
Yeah.
Texas went out and spent money.
Yeah.
Okay, they spent $500 million on a middle infield.
Very true.
Okay, they went out and got Jacob deGrom, even though deGrom got hurt.
Yeah.
They traded for Max Scherzer at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Adolis Garcia turned into a superstar.
Yep.
Which we all saw brilliant. We all saw flashes of brilliance when he came up in 21, but he's like full-fledged like superstar now. And Arizona did it all by development.
Yeah.
They did it the Astros way, where they didn't really spend on free agents.
No, they made a trade here and there.
Yeah, they made that trade with Toronto to bring in Gurriel and Moreno.
Yeah,
who
has a bright future in Arizona. Gurriel, questionable at that point. He is a free agent. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Moreno just won a Gold Glove too.
Yeah. Gold Glove wise, the Toronto Blue Jays got a defensive Gold Glove for the year, which is good for them. Good consolation prize.
They almost doubled the next team in defensive runs saved.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't understand about the Gold Gloves is Dalton Varsho didn't get one despite leading the entire league in defensive runs saved.
Yeah, that one makes no sense. I know Chris Bassett said had a quote about that, and he wasn't very happy about that either. MVP is up tonight, going to be announced around 6:00 Eastern time today. There's no doubt it is Ohtani, and there is no doubt it is Ronald Acuna. There is no doubt in anybody's mind. If there is, if it's anybody other than those two, there's a problem.
If it's not one of those two, like if those two are, I'm not going to say it's unanimous, especially in the NL, because Mookie Betts had a killer year.
So did Freddie Freeman. I know he's the top three guys right now. It's Acuna, Betts, and Freeman. So those are the top three who are vying for that MVP award. Each one's probably viable for it, but I think Acuna's the one that takes it.
And I think Acuna gets it because he did something that's never been done before.
Yeah,
which is hit 40 home runs and 70 stolen bases. That's never been done in the history of baseball.
Yeah, I think he gets it just based on that. And he had a hell of and you know what? I think that Ronald Acuna is back big time. He's back the way he was playing before that ACL or MCL, was it? Both, probably.
No, it was his ACL he tore in the summer or like early summer of 21.
Yeah.
Like right before the All-Star break, he got hurt.
Yeah, because he was leading to win the MVP that year.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Was like, that's a good comeback story for him. Like, that's almost comeback player of the year,
100%.
like kind of shit, like for sure.
Absolutely.
Right now, Ohtani, the biggest fish in the sea right now, has been linked to the Dodgers apparently, possibly the Mets, the Giants.
Yeah,
and reports coming out of Toronto today because it is Toronto, folks. We are in Canada. A sleeper for the Jays.
Yeah, but the Jays are a sleeper on anybody, and I said this last week.
Yeah, we did talk about this on the preview show, our MLB preview show. Go take a look at that and like and subscribe to that one, guys. Trust me.
And so I don't think anyone's going to move a muscle until Ohtani gets signed.
No, Chapman declined his option. He wants to go to free agency. I think he's looking for 150. Look, the way I see it is this: if you can get Jeimer Candelario, and go after Jeimer Candelario, he is a good left-handed bat and a good third baseman. But if you can get Chapman, maybe get Chapman. You're probably not going to get Ohtani. That's probably just reality, unless something. But Ohtani has said, though, he's gone on record and has said he is willing to take a shorter term. Now, what that means and who that goes to is the question.
I said it last week.
You did say it last week, actually. You definitely said he's willing to take shorter term.
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to be the $500 million deal that everyone thinks it is. I think you're going to see 5 years at 250.
Yeah. Still going to be big.
I
That's
think
still
you're gonna,
big.
no, of course, it's still 50 mil a year. But I'm saying that everyone has been saying for 2 years now that Ohtani's going to be the first $500 million player in baseball. I don't think he's signing that deal. I don't think he's signing that deal this offseason. No. He may even take 3 for 150, to be honest.
He might, yeah. You don't know. We'll see. That ball's in Ohtani's court. Switching over to hockey really quickly here. The Oilers are in turmoil. Connor McDavid is pissed, and there are a lot because we are in Toronto. Once again, folks, there is the memes and the little people posting stuff, the little trolls posting possibly McDavid coming back home to Toronto. Look,
it's not happening unless
it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it's happening though.
So I told my father-in-law this because we were talking about that.
Yeah.
I said, look, Gretzky garnered 3 first-round picks and 2 kind of middle 6 guys.
Yeah, that was a King's Ransom. Really good documentary. Take a look at that if you haven't never seen it.
Or actually, you want even more context on the trade itself, go look at Sportsnet's YouTube channel. Steve Dangle did something called a trade tree a couple of years ago on this. It's like an hour-long video, but it's so good. My point is, the skill level of players is much higher now.
Yes.
Realistically, what it's going to take to get a deal done for McDavid to leave Edmonton is you're going to have to give up a top 3 forward, probably your top prospect, and at least 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. I don't see Toronto doing that. Wow.
I can see Toronto doing it, but it's going to cost them arguably the best. It's going to cost them arguably the best player in the NHL right now, which is William Nylander.
Yeah, it's going to cost them probably Nylander, possibly Marner, and probably a pick here or there.
Yeah,
that's going. But I really see it going. But I don't.
Yeah,
that's Edmonton can't do that twice in they just can't do that twice, can they? I mean, it is Edmonton. I shouldn't say anything.
They can't. Listen, first of all, they won the cup the year after they dealt Gretzky.
They did, and they beat a Boston Bruins team that was a really good Boston Bruins team.
And they've had 1 cup final appearance since then, which is 2006.
That's true.
Okay, which to be fair, they had no right being there as the 8th seed.
Wow.
Okay,
it's hockey.
I know.
Anything can happen in hockey. We've seen 8 seeds knock off the 1st seed in the first round. It's happened recently.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, for all the first-round picks Edmonton's had, because in the last decade and a half, since 2010, we'll say, they've had 5 number 1 overall picks.
Yeah, are most of them off the team though at this point? I know Nugent Hopkins is still there.
The only one left is Nugent Hopkins and McDavid.
Yeah.
Okay. They had Taylor Hall. He's now in Chicago after bouncing around for a few years.
He had a good year. Couple of good years so far.
Yeah. So they also had Nail Yakupov, who doesn't even play in the league anymore. No one talks enough about how Nail Yakupov may be one of the best draft busts of all time.
No, because I don't think he was in the league long enough to really garner it.
But that constitutes a bust.
It constitutes an honorable mention.
But they also had Jordan Eberle too.
He's scratched out a pretty good career, Eberle. He's not bad.
Right, but it all happened after Edmonton.
Yeah. I mean, he was a bad Edmonton. He had his moments in Edmonton.
No, I'm not saying Eberle was a bad Oiler.
No.
I'm not saying Eberle was a bad Oiler. I'm saying that, through all these first round picks that they had, or first overall picks that they had, you would think they'd have some sort of success. but they've only managed to make the second round. Maybe the third round one year.
I think it comes down to coaching. I don't think it's the players. I think it's the coaching
100%.
or ownership. I just don't think they have the coaches in the right mind to build that team the way it should be. Maybe they should get Daryl Sutter. Maybe they should get something like that. Because who's not going to take bullshit from kids? Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's A to C. If they make that trade, McDavid goes to whoever it is, it's going to kill Edmonton for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's going to kill them.
But whatever Edmonton's doing right now isn't working. So if they don't make the playoffs this year, it's almost time. It's almost time to consider rebuild.
Blowing it up,
blow the whole thing up.
Look, they've blown up a few times, and it's sometimes worked out.
No. They've tried to retool around McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
They've tried to retool, but they've done a piss poor job of it.
Yeah, I think it's time to get the coaches in. Coach has to be changed and get a system and find a goalie.
David's had 4 different coaches.
Yeah, but they need you know what? I couldn't tell you because Edmonton seems to be a complete other dumpster fire at this point. Edmonton probably just needs to fucking blow their brains out or something. I don't know.
Some interesting developments in the Adam Johnson situation.
Oh yes.
Yeah, couple of days ago. Now, because of how the UK laws work, they didn't release the name of the person that they arrested.
Petgrave.
Yeah, it was Petgrave, the guy that, and I've actually gone back and watched the video again.
Yeah.
And it looks like what happened is he tried to hit one guy, missed him, and spin kicked Adam Johnson.
Yeah. It looked pretty brutal.
It was completely unnecessary. He is out on bail.
Yeah, he did get a standing ovation. Was it somewhere?
I
can't remember. He got some kind of standing ovation somewhere.
Yeah,
I can't remember where it was.
But I think we haven't heard the end of this story.
No, they're looking into the intent. There was intent there, Doug.
Right.
I don't think intent was to murder, but intent to injure might have been. I don't know.
Right, which to be fair, you're in your car, you don't mean to hit that person and they happen to die.
It's still vehicular manslaughter.
Right.
No matter how you look at it, still vehicular manslaughter.
Dante Stallworth knows about that.
Oh yeah. Anyway, speaking of Dante Stallworth, into the NFL. So, big news coming out of Buffalo Bills after that shocking Monday night loss to the lowly Denver Broncos, who only got blown out a couple weeks ago to the Miami Dolphins by 70 points.
Yeah,
the Buffalo Bills.
Everyone's getting blown out by the Dolphins. Okay.
The Buffalo Bills fired their OC, Ken Dorsey, today, replacing the QB coach Joe Brady. Now, Ken Dorsey came along. He was a good offensive coordinator, and the team looked really good. I don't think changing Ken Dorsey is the problem. I think maybe Sean McDermott might have actually passed his time there with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think
they should take look. Mark Levy had a bunch of winning seasons, 4 straight Super Bowl losses, 2 to my Cowboys, to that team right there, and they kept them on for a long period of time. And after a while, it's you gotta go. It's gotta go.
But it's a different time, right? So
it is a different time. That's also the 90s.
What you're talking about is 30 years ago, right?
No,
it's a different time now. Nowadays everyone's really quick to pull the trigger on a coaching change because of, the whole accountability thing. Where someone always has to be held accountable for a team not succeeding, even though only one can win a championship every year. And I actually look at they've had Mike Tomlin for almost 20 years.
There is talk of that going out the door too, but that might be
he's never had a losing season.
No.
He's had a 500 season. He has had a few of them.
Yeah.
But he's never had a losing season.
No.
So obviously there's something that Mike Tomlin does with his guys that gets the best out of them.
Yeah.
Now, the Steelers have been put up against some pretty bad schedules over the years. That would constitute an 8-8 season.
Doesn't help. They have the Baltimore Ravens in that division, and over the past couple of years, pretty well above average, if not great, Cincinnati Bengals team, and the Cleveland Browns have caught up to almost everybody.
Browns. Speaking
of
what do you make
Browns,
of
Deshaun Watson out for the year?
Yeah, Creeper's out for the year.
Yeah, that's you got to start wondering about that contract because that's a big contract they gave him.
Over $200 million guaranteed, and this dude's played 7 games?
Something like that, yeah.
Or probably more because
let's just say 10.
I know he played.
Yeah, a little bit. He played a couple games at the end of the year last year. He's played almost every game this year, minus the past couple starts. So let's say ballpark 10 games.
Yeah, 10 to 15 games he's played on a contract he signed 2 years ago for $200 million guaranteed.
Which he spent the first half of it suspended.
Which, to be fair, I have no idea why you're taking that big of a risk on a guy that had 20, 24, 25 different SA allegations against him.
Well, it's Cleveland and the owners, and
some of them are still being played out in court, is my understanding.
They are. We'll see what happens.
So, Deshaun Watson is very close to finding himself on a one-way ticket off of the island of relevancy.
Off the island, yeah. Somebody will pick him up as a backup at some point, but he's pretty much done.
He's damaged goods at this point.
Yeah, he just seems to be just playing and not giving a damn.
Since he's got a broken bone in his throwing shoulder.
Yeah. He hasn't been. He hasn't been bad, but he's definitely not the Deshaun Watson they were hoping they were getting out of Houston.
Right,
this is a fact. Argue with me all you want on that.
And that's the big problem too. And a lot of people chalk up last year to he was suspended for 12 games. Okay, I can give you that, but it was own fucking fault.
Yeah. They knew that suspension was coming. Everyone knew. Cleveland knew about this year. The whole everybody knew about it.
This year, I don't know what excuses you're going to give me about his piss poor performance. Well, now everyone has the cop out with the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm saying stop making excuses for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's showing you that he is not the same guy he was in Houston.
No.
And he's lucky to be even playing in the NFL right now.
Yes, it's very true. He hasn't been playing that well at all this year. Switching to the San Diego Chargers, who there's talk again.
Okay, can I just take
hold on? We're gonna let you get to it in a second here, but there's talk again of possibly the head coach of the Chargers being gone. There was talk almost around the let's go the bye week, but they won the bye before they got into the bye week, which kind of pretty much saved his job. Now, a couple weeks after the bye week, we're bringing it back to it again. Now, as yourself being a Chargers fan, I give you the floor to rant about your Chargers. Because how unfair Herbert has been treated.
Oh God, the mistreatment. First of all, the mistreatment by the media and by fans on social media that hold Justin Herbert to this insane standard where for the only fact that he can't play defense, now keep in mind, they're 4-5. There's still an outside chance that they make a run and make the playoffs. At this point, I don't know if that's a good idea. And actually, I don't even trust Brandon Staley to run this defense to the point where they can win a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I will say, to go blow for blow with one of the best teams in the NFC, which I can't believe I'm saying this, it's the Detroit Lions, who are now 7-2.
That's a defensive team like you don't believe.
Oh my god! And they put up 38
Yeah.
on. They put up 38 on the Lions.
Yeah.
And still found a way to lose. And it's frustrating watching this team year after year. Nobody over the last 5 or 6 years has lost more one-score games by 3 points or less than the San Diego/Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in Brandon Staley, and he was touted as this defensive guru. He hasn't had a good defense the entire time he's been there.
Yeah.
He has tons of talent on that defense. Okay? You have, first of all, Derwin James. You have Khalil Mack, even though he's kind of over the hill, he's still productive. He showed you earlier in the season with 7 sacks in one game. Okay? You still have Joey Bosa. You still have Asante Samuel Jr. Okay? It's not like there isn't talent on that defense. It's whatever schemes that Staley has them running clearly aren't working. Okay? Because, and bring it back to Justin Herbert for a second. The league average gives up, I believe it's around 28 points a game, or somewhere around there. 24 to 28, I think, is the league average. When the Chargers defense gives up less than the league average, Justin Herbert is, I just saw it the other day, he's like 15-5. But in games where they give up over the league average, he's like 4-15 or something like that. You know? So the fact that everyone uses the excuse that the defense absolutely sucks ass and try to put that on Justin Herbert makes me absolutely fucking sick. But at the same time, it is so frustrating to be a fan of this team and watch year after year. I've been a fan of this team since 2003. And to watch year after year, through the Rivers years, through the early and through the last few with Justin Herbert, like, it blows my goddamn mind how, keep in mind, this is the same team that in 2012 was the number 1 rated offense, number 1 rated defense, and still missed the playoffs because they had the 32nd ranked special teams. Okay. It's becoming frustrating to even entertain the idea of watching a game of this team because the pieces are there. But there's 2 problems. 1, they're not playing for Staley anymore.
No,
2,
that's been over weeks.
2, their offense can't fucking stay healthy. And if I'm Tom Telesco, I'm looking at that team right now, hoping that my job isn't on the line too.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Chargers miss the playoffs, Black Monday better include fucking Brandon Staley.
Well, you do have a little bit of a bright side to that right now. Right now, you have a bit of a bright side to it. They are only 5 positions out of the playoff, out of a wild card spot, number 1. They're 4-5. Everybody else is 5-4. The next 3 games though they probably will come out 2-1 out of it. They are playing the Packers, the lowly Green Bay Packers. Then they play the Ravens on a Sunday nighter or Monday nighter, I believe, and they got the Pats. So the debilitating
the 2-8, the 2-8.
Yes. Yes, which looks like it's going to be Belichick's out of there too soon. So really, they're looking at the next 3 games they're playing. They should be 2-1 going to that. But then they would walk right into Denver. They would have Denver come on in to SoFi, and Denver's looking start look a lot better than what they did the first couple weeks of the year. So that's a throw up game.
When do we start the Russell Wilson Comeback Player of the Year campaign?
His numbers haven't been bad over the past couple weeks.
Russell Wilson is low key having a vintage Russell Wilson season.
Yeah, that team's finally starting to work.
Right. And I mean, like I was sitting here laughing with you at preseason about how shit they are, and how Sean Payton wouldn't make a goddamn difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
So
see what happens. Like with the Broncos absolutely. Right now, that's a big win against Buffalo. That's a big win against Buffalo. They keep that momentum up. They squeaked it out. Like it wasn't pretty.
You got anything else on the NFL front, or can we move to the
NBA? That's pretty much the NFL news for the week. There's nothing else really going on there. Moving over to the NBA. Big fight between the Warriors and the Timberwolves. Fines have been put out, and Draymond Green suspended again because of Draymond's past historical records that he's done.
So, have you seen the video?
I've seen the video there. It looked
okay. So, for those that haven't seen the video, this whole thing started with Klay Thompson grabbing onto Rudy Gobert's jersey, playing defense on an inbound. That's what started the tussle, which ended up with Draymond Green putting Rudy Gobert in a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Okay. And so listen, I don't know how many more times Draymond Green's got to get suspended before someone's got to like look and be like, is he really worth keeping?
Well, James Harden keeps on getting traded.
Right. So, I mean, to be fair, I don't think the fine for Rudy Gobert was warranted because he didn't instigate any of it.
No.
Again, he was just defending him. He pushed off of Klay Thompson, like, get off me, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what started the melee.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's kind of really all I have on that.
Yeah.
I mean, really weird situation in Philadelphia with Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one.
So let me catch you guys up. So Saturday, I believe it was Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, I read some sort of news report that Kelly Oubre had been hit by a car and he had broken ribs and leg injuries and he'd be out for a while. Well, okay. In the moment, yeah, that's absolutely terrible, and I wish all the best for him. But then yesterday happened, where the police came out, the Philadelphia Police Department came out and said that there's no evidence of a crash taking place in the area in which he claims he was hit. And then today, or it might have even been early last night or late last night, TMZ somehow got a hold of Kelly Oubre's ring camera footage from his apartment, which sees him coming in with his bike, holding his ribs.
Yeah.
Now the story become that I've heard. I don't know, like, I know you've looked into this too, but what I've heard is he got sideswiped.
Mm.
And the person took off.
I heard hit and run, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this day and age it's a claim. Unless you have evidence, it's going to be a little hard to determine what's really going on there. I mean, I don't think he's faking it. He is right now, currently. He's 27 years old. He's a career journeyman right now. He's been on 5 teams. So
Yeah. I mean, he's got talent. He's a good player.
yeah,
He's a good player. He just hasn't found the right situation for him yet.
no,
Which happens sometimes. Like
yeah,
some guys are kind of late bloomers.
yeah.
I
Some
mean,
guys don't fit into a certain system.
whatever is going on with Kelly Oubre, I hope that he first of all gets healthy,
Yeah.
gets back on the floor. And if it's something mental going on, and I don't even want to speak on the rumors that I heard,
More
because again, they're
rumors.
just rumors.
Well, what rumors have you heard? Allegedly.
So allegedly, this is all allegedly
Yeah, allegedly.
that he was using this hit and run thing as a cover up for the fact that he may have been involved in a kind of a domestic violence situation where he would be the victim.
Oh,
Like I said, I didn't really want to, but I hope that that's just a rumor.
allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Allegedly. Jesus.
Yes. That is what was floating around socials last night
Yeah.
as I was reading this. You know, so like I said, I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets on the floor, and I hope he kicks ass. I really do. I just hope this doesn't turn into a Juicy Smollett type situation. Which for those that are unfamiliar, he was a actor on a show called Empire.
Yes.
With Terrence Howard that I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. And
I heard something about this. I wasn't too sure really what was going on with it.
So basically a few years ago, he
faked something, right?
He faked getting attacked, and tried to pull a race card, and then turned out it was all staged.
Yeah.
And I believe he's in prison for that right
now. Yeah. I mean, time will tell what happens on with Kelly Oubre for sure. Time will tell what happens. Eventually, hopefully, things will come. Eventually, look, everything comes out eventually, folks. It always does.
Of course.
Yep. So, like, why bullshit? Why lie? Why do whatever? Just flat out tell the truth. If it's a domestic problem and you're the victim, come out and say it. Just say it. It's okay.
These days,
day and age, you're not being laughed at for it.
Yeah, these days, like, especially men are being taken more seriously in these situations.
Thanks to Johnny Depp.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a jar.
But you know, yeah, whatever the case may be, reach out. There's always resources available for anybody that needs it.
Yeah.
No matter what you're going through, what your situation is, you just gotta look or ask someone to point you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my motivational thing for the week. But
yeah,
I suppose on that note, time to take us home, hey?
That is it for the night. That is it for the news for today, folks. There's not much else really going on in the NBA. You got Thursday night football going on tonight. You got Ravens versus Bengals. Who you got? They're playing in Baltimore. Who you got?
Give me Lamar and the Ravens.
You got Lamar and the Ravens?
I still don't trust the Bengals.
Right. There's a bunch of hockey on tonight. The juggernaut right now looks like juggernaut of the Knights playing the Canadians. They always play the Jackets and more hockey on. Your Blackhawks are playing the Lightning.
Bedard had a hat trick last week against him.
He's starting to come around to the end to the NHL.
He's leading rookies in scoring right now.
He is. Also on the note though, too, really quickly, the Warriors will be without Draymond Green tonight. They take on the OKC Thunder. The OKC coming into town, and the Brooklyn Nets play the Heat. So it's quite slow on the sports front today. Nothing too crazy, but a lot of big news happened, especially in baseball. And everything else.
I still think baseball is going to kind of dominate the headlines until
the big dog gets signed.
yeah. So basically, MVP awards are tonight, and
Yep.
then basically it's going to be dead silent until Ohtani signs,
Yeah, and then we start
and
seeing
that's
everything
gonna
else fall in place.
that's gonna open the floodgates.
Yeah, because then you're gonna see where it is, and that's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be really big what happens there.
So here's where I go into my nice cool close, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you everybody for listening. You can find us everywhere except for Apple. We're still working on it. I don't know. Is that becoming a running joke at this point?
I think so.
I am working on it, but it's still giving me problems. Yes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Andrew's doing his best over there with the work. Videos are getting better and better each time. You can follow the show on Instagram, DA Sports Podcast. You can follow us on X at DA Sports Pod. Follow me on X, DLines 1991. Him on Instagram, Purcell 1982. Andrew at DA Sports on TikTok, and we will catch your ass down the road.
Have a good one, folks. Later.